Nisam Bulavinaka, and a warm welcome to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I'm Louise Kaunisella. The heart is a muscular organ which pumps blood carrying oxygen and nutrients to the body through the blood vessels of the circulatory system. In humans, the heart is approximately the size of a closed fist and is located between the lungs in the middle compartment of the chest. COVID-19 is considered primarily a respiratory disease. However, patients with cardiovascular disease represent a vulnerable population during this pandemic. But that intro, because I have as my guest in the studio the cardiologist or heart specialist, physician from the Heart International in Namakanandi, Dr. Omar Niazi. Welcome to Speak Your Mind.
Thank you, Madam Louise, for having me in this program.
Oh, it's always my pleasure. Yes. Thank you very much. I mean, very good information that we'll find out from you today. So globally, the total deaths due to COVID-19 are more than 2.5 million, and the trend is on. How is COVID-19 different from other viruses, and is there any worry about it?
Well, I can say with sure that at this point of time, we have a lot of scientific evidence that we should not get panic from it. Only we should just follow the guidelines. And when you say that this death rate is 2.5 million, then we have to see this death rate is out of how many infected patients.
Okay.
So the latest information what I know that in the world globally, 114 million people got infected with this COVID-19 virus, and 92 millions are the outcomes. Among these 92 millions, 90 millions they recovered or discharged, and out of these 2.55 millions they died. So when we see this percentage, the death percentage is only 3%.
Okay.
Recovery rate is 97%. So if we become negative and we only think that only this minor part can affect us, we can be among that 3%. It is negative thinking. We should be positive. We should be hopeful that we will be among 97%. There is no reason for us to get panic. And when we see this scenario, I give you one example. One day, one of my patients, he came and asked me, Dr. Omar, can you give me some medicine for diarrhea? I said, oh, what diarrhea? Any sickness, any problem? He said, no. Whenever I go to airport, I get diarrhea. I said, only airport is a stimulus for you? He said, yes. When I go there, I feel, what if this aeroplane crashes and I'll definitely die?
Okay, so that's bringing on the diarrhea. The nervousness.
So nervousness and that leading to physical.
Right.
So then I give an example. If you think that only this possibility, minor possibility of having this crash and you will die, don't you think millions of aeroplanes they take off, they reach to their destinations very successfully? You are not focusing in that part, and you are focusing only on the fraction of this, exactly on this COVID-19 pandemic. If only 3% people who are immunocompromised or immunosuppressed or they have other risk factors, if they die, and then everybody should start thinking they are the one they'll die.
Right, I get what you're saying. Yes.
And then we can just compare this coronavirus with other viruses, because we are living among a lot of other viruses for centuries. And I give you two common examples, like dengue virus and influenza virus. So dengue virus, when this infects the mosquito, infected mosquito, when bites a healthy person, that person gets infected with virus. And so it means 1% is infected through this in a mosquito.
Yes.
So this mosquito, if we kill this mosquito, then the virus is controlled. But what is the mode of this influenza and this coronavirus? That they spread from person to person. So influenza is among us for years. Now people have a lot of immunity. We have vaccines. And whenever, in one person in a family, when anybody gets flu, what we do? We know these are person will get headache, body ache, dry cough, and rash. So all these symptoms they will get. So what is normally everybody knows when this virus is there. So people follow the instruction. So they keep the distance from the person who is having that flu. They stay away from that person so that if someone cough, it should not infect other people. When they blow their nose, they should clean wash their hands. So distancing, cleaning, and not using the utensils and things, the towels of the infected people. So these things are already there. Everybody knows. So we are not that scared of this influenza. While these influenza strains are there for many years, people every year they get with mild, moderate, and severe influenza. So when this virus came, coronavirus, its signs symptoms also overlaps. Similar, this is also respiratory virus. But the problem is that it is spreading from person to person, but it is spreading like wildfire.
Okay.
So it has also the same mold, mild, moderate, and severe. And the people who have like a severe like sickness, severe degree of sickness, they are ending up to this complications, and mortality rate is there.
Yes, that's such a great explanation, Dr. Omar. Very well, the way that you compared, and saying that all you have to do is just simply follow the guidelines to protect yourself. I mean, even if you do belong to that, the underlying issues, health issues, obviously you'll be under the most threat, but you need to follow the guidelines as well.
Yes.
So maybe give us an example.
Yeah, similarly, the guidelines we follow for the influenza.
Right.
Everybody knows. And this is the virus.
Yes.
And this virus, we expect it should be, that mode of it's like self-limiting. So influenza is now self-limiting. Self-limiting means if any virus you get, so you don't have exact treatment. And you don't have any vaccine. So when you get infected, so in 1-2 weeks time, all the symptoms will subside, or 2 to 6 times totally you are recovered. So this is called self-limiting, like viruses or the diseases.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same thing that you do to prevent yourself from getting the influenza, which is the flu. So, personal hygiene, obviously, which is covering your mouth when you cough or when you sneeze.
Yes.
These are very important things, but sometimes, we notice in the country that, people don't do this. I mean, they cough, they sneeze, they don't cover their mouth. And I'm very good at telling people to cover their mouth, because I get very offended when someone doesn't know, the basic hygiene rule. On Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits. We'll be back soon for more. We're back on Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits. I'm your host, Louise Kaunisela. My guest is a cardiologist or heart specialist, physician from the Heart International in Namakanandi, Dr. Omar Niazi, and he is just educating us on the COVID-19 virus. Okay, doctor, if we're living among a lot of other viruses, then is COVID-19 more dangerous than others?
Well, when last year on 11th of March, WHO, when they declared this COVID-19 is a pandemic, so it created like havoc, because there were hundreds of questions which were unanswered. And this somehow, this coronavirus, which is a one strain of this coronavirus, this is called SARS-CoV-2, this somehow jumped from animal to man, and it starts spreading from person to person. So it was really dangerous. As I gave the example of dengue, that in between the two person, that mosquito is the cause. So when you kill the mosquito, that you control the disease. But in this scenario, one person is infecting another person. You cannot kill one person to save the other one. So, and the situation is really grave. And you don't know the toxicity of the disease, the mode of the disease, that how it will behave, what part of the body it will affect, and even if it is respiratory, how much it will affect on the different people with this other comorbidities and sickness. So that was the thing that initially nobody knew. So what happened when after that a few months, when we saw the mode, it was really satisfactory to me that it is also like self-limiting disease. And when first patient in Lautoka Hospital was diagnosed and admitted in Lautoka Hospital, you know, I told my son, you should volunteer yourself to be the first line physician to treat this patient. And because I knew, I have a strong belief that this is not a dangerous, this is like other viruses, only the mode of spread is different.
Okay.
And we believed that if mode of spread is different, because coronaviruses were already there.
Right. From
It is only one of the
centuries.
strain. Yeah, one of the virus, one of the strain. So when we see that these viruses are there for centuries, pandemic came in the past.
Yeah, 100 years ago.
Lot of civilizations and generations, they gone through these pandemics. Now we are going through this pandemic, and in the future we will definitely go to such sort of pandemics. So these doctors and nurses and health care workers, they should be strong enough to face this sort of crisis.
Yeah, I mean, you even
they
advised
should have,
your son.
I advise, and he not
this
only
not
went
to be
once,
scared.
he went twice.
Okay.
Because logically, when these young people, they are with strong immunity, they are like healthy. So it's better for these people to be on the front line,
Right.
rather than the old age or the senior doctors and senior health people.
Yeah, they have
So-
nothing to worry about.
Yes.
Because they
And
have
then-
a strong immune system.
And
they,
now, today, we are more with great confidence, we can say, because we got now this vaccine.
Yes.
So when vaccine is there, and we know the people have this like survival rate is 97%. So we can focus on that instead of being like considering ourselves only the unfortunate people among these 3%.
True. I mean, the 3%, that's just a small amount.
Yes.
And for
Yes.
people, of course, with underlying health
Yes,
issues.
yes.
So what would doctors tell these people who have underlying issues, who are more at risk of having, a more serious effect of it, of COVID-19? So they have to strengthen their immune system, protect themselves very well, follow
Yes.
the guidelines.
Yes. And like as I mentioned about this flu as well. So people every year they get admitted even with the mild flu and like moderate flu or the serious, and then seriously when they get serious because of underlying the issues. So we don't see any lockdown because of flu, and
Yes.
people with that condition, they end up to acute respiratory distress, they end up to the ventilator support and all that, and then there are different consequences or the outcome of those ventilators. So I mean, even when we see that thing, we are coping with that. Then this new COVID-19 now, with the presence of our this vaccine, so this will be the story of the past.
True. Now, there's another thing. They have the asymptomatic. Can you explain about that?
Yeah. So we call it carrier. For example,
Okay.
so when we say this person is carrier of this vaccine, this infection,
COVID-19,
COVID-19. So carrier mean that you are having that virus, but you don't have symptoms. But the possibility to spread this virus to other people is there.
Okay.
So that is called very mild, or you are the carrier.
Okay. That's understandable. So that's the asymptomatic. So these
Yes.
people too, they don't even know they have it.
Yeah.
So that's the trick
Yeah.
too. Eh? I
That
mean,
is the
look at
trick, yeah.
how USA, it just spread like wildfire.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, from just one to, whew, they have like most of the figures and deaths from compared to the rest of the world.
Right. So the trend, we have seen the trend. So in certain countries, it really spread and it went out of control. And
Why is that?
well, this is still we say the lot of questions which are really unanswered. We don't know exactly that what are the factors in that spread, and then why it was not spread like in some other countries.
Okay, so
yeah.
it's very contagious.
Very contagious.
The coronavirus,
Yes,
just like
yes.
the flu.
Yes.
If you don't cover your mouth and you cough, someone will just pick it up just like that.
But flu is less like as compared to this.
Severe.
Yeah. With the coronavirus is very contagious, very strong, and it spread like at very fast pace.
Yeah. Faster than influenza.
Yeah, for instance.
All right, then.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be back shortly on Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits. Hope you're enjoying the program. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. Hope you're enjoying the program. And my guest today is a cardiologist. I think I should say heart. It's easier for me to say that than that very hard word. But anyway, you're a heart specialist and a physician from the Heart International in Namakanandi, Dr. Omar Niazi, explaining to us about COVID-19, which is something that we really need to educate ourselves on. And you've really been giving us a clear explanation as well. So my next question now, doctor, is how safe is vaccination in heart patients, and for how long will it protect them?
Well, it's a very good question. First of all, we should understand vaccine. What is vaccine? In fact, what happens when we prepare a vaccine, so we take that virus, and that virus is treated with the chemicals, and that virus become inactivated or attenuated. So it means it has lost the potential to create the severity of the symptoms, to create toxicity in the body, but it retains the property of immunogenicity. Immunogenicity means it has property to produce like defense. Okay. It has it helps the body to produce antibodies. And whenever this sort of vaccine, this sort of like virus, when it is attacks the human body, the human body has already lot of defense system, very strong defense system. Antibodies are there. So this defense system is so strong when this virus is infected, the attacks, so that is killed, that is destroyed. So that is the purpose of a vaccine. So now, against this COVID-19, a lot of vaccines are in the market.
Yeah, and, I noticed that. So many.
Like some are 50% effective, some 65, some 70, some 85. Oh. This much effectivity is very high, very high. And millions of people have already received this vaccine, which is a great hope.
Yes, millions of people.
Yeah, and this is very safe for the cardiovascular people. Rather, this is compulsory. This is very important for them, for their defense mechanism. And if some people, they have to travel overseas for their cardiovascular procedures or other procedures, they should get this vaccination. And when they get this vaccination, it is easy for them to travel from one place to another because their immune system now has good immunity, good defense system now. So when we see this, I remember, because previously, I worked in Suva Private Hospital for 9 years. Okay. And now as I'm working in Heart International Namaka. But during the last, those 9 years, what the hospital administration was doing, that they were getting influenza vaccine before this season of influenza.
Okay.
And they were giving this vaccine to the doctors and nurses because we were on the front line, and we never refused to anybody. Oh, you are getting this influenza, we are not going to treat you. No, all that hospital nurses and doctors, they got the vaccine of influenza, And I have not seen during the last 9 years any employee or the frontline health worker so got any serious sickness with influenza, or they ended up to any ventilator. While other people, they do come. They come with mild influenza, like influenza type A, and vaccine is only 45% effective. Influenza type B, vaccine is 50% effective. So vaccine is there. And then when we got the vaccine, we were really more than happy to manage all sort of the cases of this flu.
Right.
And then the people with flu, when they develop complication, ARDS, respiratory tract, acute respiratory tract, stress disorder. So when they got it, they ended up to the lot of complication. But they nobody was asking for any lockdown. Only this coronavirus, because we didn't know this is a mode of spread. We didn't know toxicity.
Yeah.
The mode of spread was man to man, and this vaccine is quite safe, and it's like a blessing to just get it.
Oh, well, that's good, because I believe that, at some stage, Fiji will also be receiving the vaccination, which is pretty
Yes,
good. I know
yes.
that they were saying that it might be hard to get to the poorer countries, but I believe that Fiji will most definitely get the vaccination. And thank you very much for, letting people know that it's safe. I mean,
Yes.
even for heart
Yes,
patients.
up till now we have seen that outcome of millions of vaccinated cases. Response is quite good.
Yes.
So
And-
we don't need have to get worried about this.
Okay, so it has to be kept like in really cold temperatures.
Well, depending on different vaccines are having that different
I
mode
see.
of cold chain.
Yeah. So,
So-
there's so many of them. I read about the Johnson & Johnson one lately. On Gold FM,
Yes.
only the classic hits. We'll be back in a moment. This is Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I'm Louise Kaunisella, your host, and my guest is heart specialist and physician from the Heart International in Namakanandi, Dr. Omar Niazi. My next question now, COVID-19 has affected the global economy, and Fiji is not an exemption. How do you assess Fijians' health status during this pandemic and in the future?
Well, when during the last 18 years, so I have seen more than 50,000 families for one sickness or another, and I know almost their educational status, their physical, their mental and social status, and because of this financial difficulties, definitely people are going through this difficult time, and this is affecting on their physical and mental health status. So, but one thing I know for sure, that Fiji is a very strong religious nation. People have a great power of prayer and faith, so they will definitely will overcome it. And as the natural instinct, we are supernatural human beings, right?
Yes.
And God has created this with lot of potentials. So survival of the fittest, struggle for the existence. And Fijian are best example. They have that faith, and they have this natural potential, and they will definitely overcome this this difficulty financial situation. So far as the present status of the health, so I can just explain with the reference to this WHO definition, that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. It's not merely an absence of a disease or infirmity. So when we see the social component of health, the social component that contains different parts. one part is unprivileged people. Unprivileged, like people who are having financial difficulties. So poverty creates resentment. Resentment leads to stress, and stress leads to physical and mental stress. And we have seen the trend in the world because this economical crisis. There are a lot of recorded cases of sexual assaults and other mental sickness. But this will not stay for a long time because now we have vaccine. Now people, we know that recovery rate is 97%. Only the death rate is 3%. Only with those who are, due to one reason or another reason, are so prone to that death due to any other reason as well. So we should be very hopeful. We should be strongly we should believe that this phase is a very short phase. And second, when we see the health status in the future, so I tell you, I perceive COVID-19 as a blessing, particularly when we see that if you have seen the statistic of the Pacific countries, so 12 Pacific countries, this virus went there, and it did not spread like a wildfire. What are the reason behind? Whether the countries manage to control the spread of the disease, like Fiji is one of those countries. They have really well managed.
Yes.
Their system have well managed to control the spread. Or there are other geographical strategic conditions or the mode of this disease pattern, mode of infection, or other environmental factor. We don't know at this point of time. But one thing I know for sure, that when this disease, this pandemic, this COVID-19 spread in other countries like anything, so it is well controlled in these countries. When in future, people will see that which one countries were the safe during the pandemic. I tell you, these Pacific countries, particularly our Fiji, will be the safest place, and people will realize to come and to live in this country. They will prefer to come invest in this country. They will get the feeling of 7 heavens and safe heavens. The Fiji will that place, and that is the great aspect,
Great blessing.
great
Yes.
blessing. And in future, we will be definitely having good quality of physical, mental, and social health.
Okay, we'll just have to come back shortly for more on Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. It's good to have your company. My guest is heart specialist and physician from the Heart International in Namakanandi, Dr. Omar Niazi. You know, it's been really good talking to you. And if you want to be a part of the conversation or you have a question, 3220906 or 7732906. So this is our last segment. Doctor, what message do you have for the people of Fiji?
Well, this with reference to this pandemic, and as I already mentioned, that 100,000 years back, pandemics were there, but that time there were no specialists, there were no laboratories, no doctor, and all that.
So no modern technology.
No technology things.
Yeah.
But people do get well control over those pandemics. Now we are going through this pandemic, and in future we will get. So my takeaway message for the people is that we should know, but because spread of the disease is from person to person, and what part of the human body is the most dirtiest part? Hand is the most dirtiest part. So what the religions tell, what were the guidelines, like in the Bible you see, and other religion more than 2,000 years ago, clear guidelines were that the purity of heart and mind, cleanliness. So purity of heart and mind, if your mind is dirty, your slave, this hand, will do all the dirty things. So dirty deeds will be because of that dirty mind, evil thoughts. So the hand will do all that, commit all that adulteries and bad deeds.
Okay.
But if you are positive, your hand will do all that positive things. So the message is purity of mind, purity of heart, and cleanliness. And when this evil virus is visiting undesirably, visiting your body, and it's there, then you wash your hand when your hand touch any unclean things or dirty things. So wash them again and again, and whenever they are dirty. So this is number one.
Right, and 20 seconds or more.
20 seconds or more.
Wash it
And
properly, wash it properly.
number two, that stay away from evils. What is that? The message: stay away from evils.
Dirty
So
things.
stay away from evils. So evil companies, evil people, evil like situation where that all evils is there. So it is distancing. Word of God is distancing. Stay away from the evils. So if this body is a possibility of having this infected with this evil COVID-19, then you have to keep distance from your loved one, because you don't know the possibility and probability is that you can be positive with coronavirus, and you are not infecting, you are not having any symptom, but you can infect other people, and other people can also infect you. So distance from this evil. So this evil is there. You will control this evil by keeping at least distance of 6 feet. Third message is that what part of the body is most sinful is your tongue. With this tongue, when we use it negatively, we spread the rumors. We create envy. We create jealousy. We create hatred. We create differences between the sister, brothers, and the families and the nations. So this, when tongue is used negatively, so this creates all that negative environment. But this tongue alone cannot do anything except the breath. And now we know COVID-19 affects the breath. It is a respiratory disease. It affects the cardiovascular system. It affects on your breathing system. So when this tongue speaks and you use this breath, so you have to control this breath, because this evil is there. So word of God is control your tongue, hold your tongue, and it means we should watch, we should control our breath, and to control our breath, that this evil should not spread from one person to another. So whether you have to put one mask or two masks, put it there. Control this, and the.
So you're relating it
Yes,
because viruses have been among humanity since, whenever, we don't really know,
Excellent.
but really long time. Yeah.
Excellently. This is what I wanted to say, and you have nicely summarized this thing. So when there was no research, no scientists, no laboratories, but word of God was there, pandemics were there, and these were controlled through this promise of the Lord. So, and then the Holy Spirit. If you lead your life with the Holy Spirit-led life, God will never disappoint you.
Yeah, that's why,
So God will never disappoint you.
That's very true, because even there was an outline of what kinds of food to eat.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
that's how we have COVID-19 now, because, not eating the right kind of food. So they jump to the human.
So the message is washing your hand.
Right, 20 seconds or more.
More, and then
Physical
keep distance.
Yeah, stay far.
Stay far. And then third is that cover your face. control your with face with a mask, one mask or two masks, but control it so that it should not spread to other people.
And personal hygiene is pretty simple. We learned that when we were growing up.
Yes.
You know, cover your mouth when you cough,
Yes.
cover your mouth when you sneeze.
Yes.
So, I mean, I would really like to remind the people of Fiji, you know, to practice good personal hygiene. It's
Yes.
simple.
Yes.
It's nothing hard. I mean, we're just very fortunate, Fiji, that, you know, we haven't had the spread of COVID-19 yet in the country, you know, in the community, I should say. I mean, we had the very first one last year in March, and it was well controlled.
Yes.
So, like you said, we're really blessed.
We are
And
blessed.
what other little message would you like to let the people of Fiji know?
Well, the faith, and they should not let the negative thought take over them. Always stay positive. Always think that you are on the right side of the table. So you are not among that only fractional possibilities which can lead to any your psychological and mental stress and physical health challenge or financial challenge. So trust in the Lord. Definitely you are going to get prosperity, good quality of health, physical, mental and social health.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Omar. Very encouraging. And, you know, the thing is, like you said, no fear.
Yes.
You know, I mean, when it first came, people were like panicked. Oh, so frightened. And then you compared it to that man who always goes to the airport and he
Yes.
said every time he has to use the toilet because he had the fear of flying.
Flying, yes.
So, you know, you told him, you know, the
Yes.
right answer. I mean, millions
Yeah.
and millions of planes
Well,
going.
You
Yeah.
don't consider that possibility when they successfully, those people completed the flights. So that's how.
So, okay. So, looking forward, you see Fiji as being safe from COVID-19, especially now with the vaccine
Yes.
that's going to be
Yes.
coming soon, hopefully.
Yes. This will be the in the past will gone story. Like
Yeah.
the flu, we are not afraid of flu now.
Okay.
And that vaccines are there, immunity is there.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be exactly like that. And we see a great prosperity in our country because Fiji is rich with hundred and millions of other natural resources. And
Yes.
then it's really safe haven.
Thank you so much, Dr. Omar, my guest today on Speak Your Mind, a heart specialist and a physician from the Heart International in Namakanandi. It has been so great talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Until next time, I'm Louise Kaunisela, and yes, we shall catch up again next week, same time, same place. Take care, look after yourself and each other. Nisa Modemanda.